that you came and asked about feeding for the masjid. Is that permissible to have a non-Muslim feed, or if Saudi would give money to the masjid in general?
Question regarding the Hindu wanting to perform an iftar for the masjid. Is that even permissible? So on and so forth. Obviously, if the Hindu is providing meat from his own sources, then there's nothing to discuss with regards to that. If we said, as far as the Hindu is sponsoring the iftar, meaning donating it, I'll give you the money. You fill in a slot for whoever that night. This is how much it costs: $1,000, $500, etc., to provide the iftar for the hungry Muslims. If there are no strings attached, or no harm that is going to fall or resonate upon the Muslims because of that, then you taking a gift and accepting a gift from a non-Muslim is permissible, with those conditions. With what? With those conditions, and Allah knows best.
Initial AB, New York, Assalamu alaikum. Is this sin of backbiting and slandering restricted to Muslims, or does it include kuffar as well?
Wafikum barakallah. Scholars of Islam say the Muslim's blood, honor, and wealth are sacred. The Muslim exclusively. And away from the Muslim is the dhimmi, a non-Muslim who lives in the lands of the Muslims under their protection with the agreements to abide by those rules. Exclusively. Alright? But this doesn't mean that a Muslim should talk about someone and slander someone and lose control with his or her tongue regarding anyone, Muslim or not. But the actual ruling of Allah and His Messenger, the Hadith says, ذِكْرُكَ أَخَاكَ. Wallahu alam.
This was AR, New York, New York. How to get rid of thoughts of imagining Allah?
Thoughts of what?
Imagining Allah.
How to get rid of thoughts imagining Allah. It's a detailed discussion on what's meant by imagining Allah. What's meant by that? Okay? At the end of the day, you know Allah and you believe in Allah based off what Allah has told you about Himself. And if you have the fitrah, there's not going to be any clash or any type of rigid static between what's in the Quran and Sunnah and your natural fitrah. As far as if the fitrah has been perverted, as far as if one has an issue, mental, emotional, etc., he's going to need further help and further assistance. So if a person is a revert back to Islam and they were upon some other type of false aqidah and they had notions about Allah, God, or gods, then you have to purge yourself of that by learning the correct aqidah and learning what the original fitrah is supposed to be like, and striving your best to taking your fitrah that has been perverted and distorted back to that original fitrah. Alright? Okay, so therefore you seek a refuge in Allah, protection from Allah, ask Allah to teach you, to guide you, and to remove anything which is harmful from you. What's important is Allah Azza wa Jal is above and beyond what a person can think and feel about Him. Allah tells us who He is, and He lillahi al-mathalu al-a'la. What you can think and imagine, Allah is what? Above and beyond that. Wallahu a'lam. Is he okay, Akhi? May Allah make it easy for you.
East London, Belgium. Can Nia be enough to break the fast for iftar?
Can what?
Can Nia be enough to break the fast for iftar, or does one actually need to eat before?
No. Nia is not enough for iftar. Nia could break your fast. Some of the ulama have mentioned if a person resolves upon breaking the fast, yani azama al-iftar, in your heart, I'm going to do it. I want to nullify my fast. But that's not the same. It does not take the same place as al-iftar, eating and drinking. Wallahu alam.
XL Rich Switzerland. Assalamu alaikum, Mufti. I'm a computer science student and we are learning about artificial intelligence. Is that allowed for me to program and earn money with later on?
Artificial intelligence. Is that permissible to program so on and so forth? Well, it depends. What's the purpose of this artificial intelligence? To help and to aid people, or to imitate Allah's creation and to say we created and we made? Does it resemble a living soul? Is it an image or a form? Or is it a program that is fed information and taught how to think based off of how the human thinks, etc.? Okay? So I wouldn't say it's haram, but of course there are going to be details and guidelines and boundaries. Wallahu alam.
And it shows U.S. Harlem, the Netherlands. Is it permissible for a woman to wear pants while playing soccer with other sisters?
Sisters playing soccer together wearing pants. Type. With two different issues. Sisters playing sports together in public or in private, and a woman wearing pants. And then, of course, the two issues come together as one. In brief, I don't feel it's haram for a woman to wear pants, as long as the pants are women's pants. All right? Especially in 2020, in which pants, slacks, trousers, these things, leggings, etc. have become well known for women, specifically designed and engineered and geared for women. So I don't think that it's haram or dislike for a woman to wear pants. But you will find fatwas that many people say that a woman wearing pants is a sign of imitating men. All right? So that's the first part of the answer. Women playing sports is fine. Of course, a woman playing a sport is not going to wear, or she doesn't necessarily have to wear everything that she wears normally for the nature of the sport, running, jumping, so on and so forth. So therefore, if the pants are loose and they're not super tight, they're not revealing in an unbefitting manner that's impermissible for a woman to see her fellow Muslim sister, labas. There's nothing wrong with that, inshallah ta'ala. And obviously playing sports and physical fitness can bring a great deal of unity, can bring joy, health to the mind and the body. All right? But be careful and be mindful in general. In general, any sport, any working out that you do, be careful. But as far as women playing soccer wearing pants and the pants are not haram, inshallah, best. Nothing wrong with that, inshallah.
Is this including public or private?
Public or private? Tayyib. As far as it's private, then obviously it's a much easier answer. As far as public, it should be far from the eyes of non-mahram men. Far from the eyes of non-mahram men. And be mindful as well.
Initial CK, Atlanta, Georgia. What conditions are necessary for a wife/mother to go out and work?
Tayyib. What conditions are there for a woman or a mother to go out and work? Khairan. Before we say what are the conditions, one may say that working has to be haram. What makes it haram for a woman to work and to earn money? That's not the default. A woman can work and a woman can earn money. In her house, of course, and out her house in certain instances and certain circumstances. So the default is not that it's haram for a woman to have a job. That's not the default. That's not the asl. The asl is that it's permissible until proven impermissible. So it's very important for us to restructure that. It's permissible until proven to be what? Impermissible. Now one may say, well, Allah says, and stay in your homes. Okay, when you look at a lifestyle of many Muslim women today, what they go outside for, how they go outside, how often they go outside, driving, this township, this place, there's many, many infringements upon many rules. And oftentimes brothers or sisters, they may say you can't have this job, you can't work there, you can't go outside the house, but they go outside the house for 50 other things. There isn't necessarily a durura. So we have to be honest and have to avoid having double standards. If a sister needs to take care of herself and her family, and there's no one else that can do it, or no one else that can do it efficiently or proficiently, then let her take that job. What type of job? What does she sell? What does she buy? Where does she work? Who is she around? How does she dress? Etc. These are other further issues of discussion. But a woman's hijab is going to be symbolic to all these other issues. If there's a sister that covers her hair, her face is not covered, she wears modest clothes, she wears a dress, etc., you can't say, oh, well, you can't be here, you can't work there because of what you're wearing. That's how she dresses what? All the time. Versus a sister who does wear a full abaya. A sister who does wear a very long kimar. A sister who does wear gloves and niqab. A sister who does different levels of practice. Just like among what? Brothers. There are brothers who like to wear pants, and that's fine. And there are brothers who like to wear thobes, brothers who wear loose pants, brothers who wear pants above their ankles, brothers who have a full beard, brothers who trim their beards. They're what? They're different levels of religious understanding and of religious practice. So I think that the job is going to be relative to her religious understanding and devotion. According to what it's according to. Everyone understand this? What's important is being around men touching men, men touching you, men seeing you, having to speak and flirt with men, etc. Of course, we all know that those things are problematic. Those things are problematic. But the concept of jobs and occupation and employment among the Muslims today in 2020 is oftentimes utterly chaotic. Utterly chaotic. There are 50 jobs that are haram. Our brother lands a job here, and then they have this issue. Can't have that job either. Can't sell this, can't work here, can't deliver that, can't go to college, can't work in a bank, can't. A person becomes boxed in. Or another dynamic, which is very important to the question, is marriage and divorce. A brother marries a sister. He says, I don't want you to work anymore. Stay in the house. We're going to practice the sunnah, so on and so forth. But the brother doesn't pay all of her bills. The brother doesn't give her the money that she needs for everything, not just rent, food, shoes, this, that, cell phone, everything. How do you expect me to live and to survive, but you can't pay my expenses? Everything from need to want. Everyone understand this? Dessert, just like what? A staple meal. Let alone if the sister has children from a previous marriage. Are you going to pay for them? Do you buy their sneakers, their t-shirts, underwear, and socks, and pajamas, and long johns? Brother says, no, they are my children. Okay, then how can you prevent me from working? Or worse than that, unfortunately, brother marries his sister, stay in the house, can't work, wear niqab, wear gloves, wear a screen, drop out of school, quit college, and then they get divorced. And the sister has nothing to lean back on and to fall back on. So it is a reality, okay? It can become chaotic. What's important is try your best, brothers and sisters, to have a job which is permissible and the closest to it being permissible as possible. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. Wallahu al-muwafiq. Zakaria.
Can you give me a brief explanation as to how tafsir is authentic?
Tight. Question is regarding a brief explanation on how tafsir is authentic. How is tafsir authentic? Very good question. Jazakallah khairan. First and foremost, there are different types of tafsir. Different types and at different levels. And the scholars of tafsir have different styles. All of these things here pertain to the question, what is authentic or inauthentic? So a person may say, well, this narration of Ibn Abbas isn't authentic. This narration of Mujahid isn't authentic. Well, the author may say, I never said that all the narrations of my book were what? Authentic. I just collected them. Or a person may explain the Quran through other things, other ways, especially in modern days, al-ijaz, al-ilmi, science, etc. And a person refutes and says, you can't do that. The person says, my tafsir is not Ibn Jarir. It's not a tafsir of the Athar. I'm doing a different type of scientific tafsir. So it may be inauthentic according to your standards, but it's a different what? Style. So before you get to what's authentic or inauthentic, you have to regulate jurisdiction. Clear on this? You have to regulate what? Jurisdiction. Like people say morality. This is immoral to marry a woman this age. The first thing we have to do is set a standard of what? Morality. What's moral versus what's immoral. Okay? So therefore, if there is a scholar who has made tafsir with the Quran with the Quran, then we have a scholar who makes the tafsir with bil-athar, bil-ma'thur. The Prophet, first and foremost, alayhi salam, Ibn Abbas, Zayd ibn Thabit, Ibn Mas'ud, Ikrimah, the companions with the chain of narration. So the chain of narration could be weak. It could be a missing person in the chain and no narrator in the chain. Okay? But the wording could be correct. Or it could be an authentic chain of narration, but the tabi'i is mistaken. And the other scholars and the other companions said he was wrong in that tafsir. Do you understand? So it depends on what's meant by authentic and what style you're gauging it off of. But in general, like Ibn Kathir, inauthentic tafsir, Ibn Abbas is quoted to have said this verse means so on and so forth. But it's not authentically traced back to him through ilm al-hadith. Hadith science has proven that this sanad, and is the only chain of narration that we have for this quote of Ibn Abbas, is what? weak. فيه انقطاع, فيه مجهول, فيه وضاع, فيه تدليس, فيه إرسال, إلى آخره. This person never heard from Ibn Abbas. This person never met this narrator. And that's to show you the importance of knowledge of hadith and how it's dominant and superior over all the knowledges. Tafsir doesn't dominate ilm al-hadith. Ilm al-hadith does what? It's going to be in the tafsir books and not the opposite. Alright? So at the end of the day, Ibn Abbas is quoted to have said something, but we find in the chain of narration that Ibn Abbas is not authentically proven. So that's a weak tafsir. Or inauthentic what? Tafsir. Clear? Or it could be a tafsir and there are prophetic hadiths which are fabricated. Or you have Israeli narrations, Israeliyat, the Hebrew narrations. Okay? Or it could be an opinion and a view of a scholar of tafsir which is in error. And other scholars of tafsir have disagreed with him and say he's wrong in this. Of ijtihad. Clear? Inshallah. And that's in brief. Hopefully that makes sense and brings some type of light. Okay? Mukhtar, fadal.
Can we expect any class on like Ulum al-Quran and
Ulum al-Quran
Tafsir?
and tafsir. As far as tafsir, alhamdulillah, Ustad Samir is doing Juz Amma. Alhamdulillah, and he's doing a pretty good job. Wallahi alhamdulillah, may Allah reward him for that. As far as Ulum al-Quran, then bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, let's see. With Allah. Yeah. Well, we've done workshops on that before. On the sciences of the Quran. Some of the earliest videos on HadithDisciple were about Ulum al-Quran. It's an old video we did in JMIC in Boonton, New Jersey. We did a workshop on the sciences and the preservation of the Quran. So you can go back to that. Obviously that was many years ago, so I think it needs to be redone, and inshallah ta'ala. It's very important. But there are lectures on it. Inshallah. Jazakallah khairan. Khairan? Fadal.
Bishop K. UK. Is it okay for a brother who is interested in marriage to a sister in two different countries to have a meeting through a video call with the mother of the girl present and the father is busy?
And the father what?
Is busy.
Tayyib. Two people with two different countries having a video call. With the mother there and the father is busy, so on and so forth. Khairan, inshallah. First and foremost, what are you seeing in this video call? And how does the sister cover? And what are you looking at and how are you looking at the sister? Sister doesn't wear niqab and you see her face. Sister wears a niqab, she takes off her niqab. Sister wears a niqab or doesn't wear niqab and you're lusting off of her face versus getting to see her, etc. Principle number one. Principle number two is, has the father allowed this to take place or not? Principle number three, which is, you have to understand, or the third principle is, are they going to fall into zina? Can they physically meet? Are they going to be secluded? And how does their cultural system work? Do you go directly to the father, or does the mother screen the potential groom? Talk with him. See how the sister reacts, so on and so on and so forth. Then she takes it a step further to the father. And they don't involve the father in these menial things until it is something considerable and substantial. All of these principles have to be taken into consideration. If those things are taken into consideration, then inshallah ta'ala, hopefully that's fine. But it's not the same as the father knowing. It's not the same as the father being there or allowing it. But it is not the same as them being in one room together. And many people, unfortunately, lack of knowledge, they misinterpret and misunderstand the concept of al-khalwa. You talking to a woman in a different country is not al-khalwa. Is it permissible? Impermissible? What are you talking about? It's not what? Khalwa. Many ignorant people mix and confuse this. And you'll find this in the kalam of the ulama. It is not khalwa. Khalwa is for you and her to be physically in one place together with no third person. That's khalwa. Shar'an. On the phone, 1,000 miles away is not what? Khalwa. So don't make it the same. Talking to her in a certain manner versus talking to her in a different manner. Different ruling. But it's not what? Khalwa. So therefore, if the kalam is ma'ruf, respectable kalam, honorable kalam, for the purpose of marriage, all right, a third party is there, so on and so forth, it's not the same as you talking to her alone, saying something, and the list goes on. So hopefully there's nothing wrong with that, inshallah, as long as you understand innamal a'malu binniyat. These are based off of what? Intentions. What is your intention? To marry the sister, to get to know the sister, to make sure that you go into the situation with clarity versus rushing into it blindly and then regretting it later on. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala surely knows best.